Just to clear up any confusion that some of you guys might have, no, Coco is not based off of the character Coco from Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends. Yet, no one else was thinking that? Okay. So Coco is the newest animated movie directed by Pixar. It's directed by Lee Unkrich, who I know directed Toy Story 3. I think he was also like second unit director on a couple other Pixar movies. And it's about this kid named Miguel. He has a family in Mexico. They love him, except he loves music, and his family has banned music in their household because of something that happened generations ago. And Miguel really idolizes this Mexican musician named Ernesto de la Cruz. He wants to become him one day. And on Dia de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead in Mexico, Miguel gets into something that he shouldn't. He does something that he shouldn't have done. Now he's in the land of the dead, and he's trying to make it back home. It's funny, I remember it's gotta have been like 2011, 2012. I was on Wikipedia and I was looking up Pixar's upcoming movies, and it said, oh, upcoming movie on Dia de los Muertos. They didn't have a title yet. And I was like, what the heck is that? So then I looked into it, and that's how I found out about the whole Day of the Dead holiday. I feel like since then, though, it's really blown up. You know, there was Book of Life, it was Inspector. In any case, I'm a really big fan of Pixar, but to be honest, I wasn't really looking forward to this movie. The last time Pixar tried to do 2 movies in 1 year, we got Inside Out and The Good Dinosaur. Inside Out being great, Good Dinosaur not being great, and the trailers just weren't really grabbing me. So I went into this movie and I was like, alright, I'm gonna check it out because it's Pixar. Not expecting much though. And I don't think this is just because my expectations were low, but I walked out of Coco and I loved it. Coco is one of my favorite movies of the entire year. I never thought I'd say this. I walked out of that, I was like, I can't believe I ever thought this movie was going to suck. I saw it over the Thanksgiving weekend, and then I decided, you know what? I'm gonna go see it again. So I saw it again last night. It's still awesome. There are certain things that you've come to expect from Pixar. Great animation, great voice acting. This movie does have great animation and great voice acting. There's actually this fun like minute or 2 long snippet that they show before the beginning of the movie with some people that worked on the movie, and they were explaining kind of the animation process and showing the detail that goes into animating the Land of the Dead. And I was like, I don't know how you do that. That's insane. It looks great. I mean, this movie is bursting with colors, good lighting, good shading. The way the skeletons walk versus the way that the humans walk when there's walking like normal humans, those little touches like that, it just makes for a fun animated movie. I like animation because you're able to do certain things that would come across looking kind of weird in live action, such as the way those skeletons are walking. Most skeletons in movies just kind of walk normal, but I like how in Coco they walked with kind of like a disjointed feel. And the voice cast also is great. The kid that plays Miguel, he was awesome. His grandma was great, and Miguel comes across as kind of like con artist guy named Hector in the movie, and Hector is one of my favorite characters. He has such layers, such depth. They really go into Hector and who he is and where he came from and how he was in life and how he is in death. He was a big standout for me, one of my favorite Pixar characters in a long time. And for someone who doesn't really know anything about the Day of the Dead, I feel like this movie did a good job at not getting bogged down with all the little details. They tell you what you need to know to establish the story. It doesn't feel like they're pandering in any way. It feels like everything that they introduce in the story is relevant. That's something I was worried about. I thought they were going to get bogged down with the lore and the culture, and now all that stuff is good and needs to be in the movie. I just thought they would end up sacrificing story time in order to establish more of that. And I can't say the opening act of this movie, they maybe could have quickened the pace just a little bit, but they did a really good job of establishing the world of this movie without getting bogged down by some unnecessary details. Now, Pixar is a studio, they're known for making you cry, let's be honest. Up, Toy Story 3, Toy Story 2, Finding Nemo, Monsters Inc. I mean, the list goes on. Like I said at the beginning, I wasn't really looking forward to Coco. I don't think I've been this emotionally connected to a Pixar movie since Toy Story 3. And the ending of this movie is just, oh man. I'm just gonna shut up before I spoil anything or start crying on camera. Bring a tissue box, that's all I'm gonna say. I do have one issue with Coco, and it's that all of the main story beats and emotional beats in this movie you have seen in other Pixar movies. There's a big twist that happens near the end of this movie. You can see it coming from a mile away. However, familiar plot points in movies, they don't bother me unless the movie itself is not good. Like, it's not going to be the deal breaker for me. Something like Force Awakens, where I loved everything in that movie, and then, oh, some familiar plot points, I can kind of overlook that. Something like Jurassic World, which didn't really blow me away, and then I go, oh, and the plot was very similar to Jurassic Park, then that stands out more to me. But Coco, while you've seen a lot of these plots before, they did them really well in this movie. So at the end of the day, dude, Coco was awesome. Great animation, great acting. I didn't even mention the music in this movie, but that was awesome. A great emotional core and a great message about family. Every time. So if you haven't seen Coco, go check it out. It's easily my favorite animated movie of the year and possibly one of my favorite movies of the entire year. One of my favorite Pixar movies. I know that's crazy to say, but Coco easily sits in like my top 5 favorite Pixar movies. So if you have seen Coco, let me know what you think of it down in the comments. And thank you so much for watching this video. If you guys liked it, you can click subscribe and check out some of my other videos, and I'll catch you next time.